Theorizing that one could travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Becket stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. He woke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Becket finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home.
Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasmagorium show of shows. And we are super proud and overjoyed to present In the Loop, a Quantum Leap retrospective. My name is Scotty R37, and Antiderivative Jill is here with us today.
Woohoo! Yes, I'm here. And these episodes are getting more and more fun to watch. So I'm becoming more and more hopeful for the series. Because, of course, I knew I was going to love it eventually.
Well, and we've had some conversations, and I think we've had them on other streams, and we've had them behind the scenes and stuff. And today was definitely a day when I was like, yeah, definitely. It's totally a soap opera.
It is. It is a soap opera, but it has more Al now.
It does have more Al now.
What more do you need?
Not much. Well, and that's why I'm sort of playing with something. I don't know if you can tell by the handsome devil that is my avatar. I figured, why go on camera if I'm just going to drop to an avatar anyway? And I decided to throw Al Calavicci in there. So I'm gonna see if I can find a proper Al Calavicci as the shows continue. But I'm glad you're enjoying these.
I am. Yes, I was getting a bit tired of the soap opera format, but they're figuring it out in such a way to keep me engaged.
Absolutely, and it is seeming more and more every time we bump into Sam. He is basically right from the onset. He's Sam. He's still Sam, but he has to be taking on the personality traits and some of the memories.
Absolutely, I think that is becoming more and more of a theme, that whoever he leaps into, part of their personality becomes part of Sam's for the duration of the episode. I think so.
And I'd like to thank everyone who is in the chat. It's always a pleasure to see Edge of Time. Hello, and ahoy. And PvP is here with tidings of joy.
I have to be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. PvP says to Jill, I'll field this one, even though because I'm Al Calavicci, no one can see or hear me. I emailed Scotty and you a little while ago to see if we still wished to invite PvP, watch the episodes and enjoyed them. Absolutely. Hang on just 1 second, and I will figure out, where am I? There's my email. I don't know if I got an email though, PvP. I do appreciate your patience. As everyone knows, Jill wears many hats. She is not just one of the most entertaining people on YouTube, but she also has other responsibilities in the real world, and I do appreciate it. Hang on, and let me see. Let's see. Bingo, bango, and you should be in the imaging chamber, PvP. I appreciate. Oh, PvP watched the episodes.
He did.
Yeah. So based on the invite that when we talked last, I figured, hey, yeah, if you've seen the episode, no harm, no foul, more the merrier.
Sure. Great.
And for those who are watching along at home, today's episodes are Her Charm and Freedom, which
That's
were And I don't want to give away Jill's jam because I know that she enjoys discussing the original air dates.
Yes, her charm first aired on February 7th, 1990. The story by credit. So I liked how there was a story by credit and a teleplay. The story by credit goes to the creators of the series, Donald P. Belisario and Deborah Pratt and Paul M. Bellis and Robert A. Wolterstorff. And then the teleplay itself was written by the series creators, Donald and Deborah.
See, I'm starting to wonder as to whether or not there's like a Gene Roddenberry thing going on, whether or not Donald P. Belisario just I have to rewrite it.
I think so.
Do you think that's just what showrunners did up until like whenever?
I don't think that he did for a while at the beginning of the series, but I think now he's got a handle on what he wants and he's making it happen.
Absolutely.
Just based on the improvement of the episodes, just all of a sudden. And this episode was also directed by Christopher T. Welch. And
I didn't get a chance to see if Chris had directed anything Star Trek related because
right.
Nope, I've got it right in front of me. Let me see if I can find anything.
Please check.
Oh, he was in the sound department for The Revenant. Lots of stuff. Let me see. Oh, only 7 directors credits. So this should be easy to find. And PvP, welcome to the jungle, baby.
Hey, Scotty. Hi, Jill.
Hello.
Yeah, it was fun watching these. I watched them last night after I got home from work, and I can honestly say I've finally actually watched Quantum Leap. After all these years, I actually enjoyed them. Yeah, I thought they were good.
Are these your first 2 forays into Quantum Leap?
Yes, they are. So I still have to go back and watch the previous ones, but it seems like from what you guys are saying, they're getting better at this point anyway. So
just based on entertainment value, just watching them, if you watch them yourself, you would see the difference between the last few episodes before the last 2 or 3 episodes. There's been a shift somehow in the tone and the structure. Wow. I don't know exactly what it is.
Different writers, maybe?
No, well, it's the same creators, but I can't really pinpoint exactly what is making things better, except more Al is happening.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Al Calavicci, and definitely as we continue on before we get to Picard season 3, there is going to be an actually, yeah, I think so. Once we finish off with season 2, there is an incredible Al episode that I'm really looking forward for Jill to see if she hasn't seen it already.
Great.
Oh.
So, Scotty, you've seen the series in its entirety.
I saw it off and on when it originally aired. It was comfort food on whatever night of the week it aired. I haven't seen the entirety. I do, as I've mentioned before, with the box set that I have, which is the 16-disc Mill Creek Entertainment box set that has the original soundtracks and everything, and I've had them for a while, and I was looking for a good reason to go through and watch them in chronological order so I could see, well, chronological order is a difficult thing when you're talking about leaping through time, but watch them as they were broadcast, same way that we're doing on the original series. And Jill was kind enough to join me on this time traveling adventure because we're watching so much stuff. The new Quantum Leap came out, and while I haven't heard much about it, which means it's okay, the internet only reacts to things if they really, really hate it, not if it's fine. So I wasn't really invested in the first episode of the remake, and I thought, what a perfect time to go back to see the classic.
Yeah, I thought I heard somebody somewhere on here mention that the new series has been canceled already, but don't take my word for it. They might have just been, talking.
I also heard that it was renewed, so I don't know because I'm not really paying attention to it because I prefer to watch things that I know are going to be fun and good.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, who knows, right?
Until, we finish the actual original series.
Well, the thing is, I'm not too worried about the new series anyway. I'd rather watch this one, so.
Well, and if it does
Oh,
turn,
great.
if it does turn out to be good, I will. I would be happy to check it out. It is still going on season 1. I don't have any
No, the
listing.
season 1 I think is over.
Season 1 is over.
Yeah, season 1 is over.
Yeah, that's
If
why I
you
thought they might have canceled it already, but who knows? I mean, the person that I heard talking on some stream could have been totally wrong, of course.
and again, I haven't been paying attention to it. The
Yeah,
next
I think pretty much season 2 was greenlit. So that's
yeah,
Okay.
all we know for sure.
No, that's cool.
and from and
Maybe.
here we go. It's Black Philip Alvarez in the chat. He is my fairy godmother. Thank you for being here, Phil. The new series is coming back on the 23rd of January, apparently.
Oh, well,
So
there you
that's
go.
good. And I heard, and Phil is also our resident sports ball fanatic. So trust me, I saw all the ads watching the football playoffs. So that's good.
Great.
As I mentioned, when it comes to the internet, if they don't like it, they'll let you know. If they're okay with it, you probably will hear nary a whisper. But I am, if it does turn out to be good, I will look at that one after I'm done with the classic.
I see some moderate interest in it, and Bird of Prey 5 kind of liked it, so I don't know. So I'll let you be the guinea pig on that one, and you tell me what your findings are.
Seems like Bird of Prey 5 is doing a good job at being the guinea pig on it, and I would I wasn't taken very much by the first episode of the first season of the continuation, but from what I understand, they're building on the lore of the original. I didn't like the structure of the first episode, but if it does get better, then I will definitely check it out. It depends on what NBC happens to do with their physical media, because I'm
Well,
not
the thing
getting
is,
Peacock.
there'll be plenty of time to catch up later anyway. I mean, they'll have it probably on streaming for a while, and it'll probably end up on physical media eventually, I would think so.
Well, and if it's good, but right now when it comes to NBC, the thing that's coming out that I'm looking forward to the most, and it is released, I know it was on the 17th, just passed, was the Night Court continuation started up.
Yeah,
The highest ratings of an NBC sitcom in the last 5 years.
that's what
And
I read too.
and so
Yes.
that's going to be premiering in Canada on CTV on Sunday, the 22nd at 10
Okay.
o'clock.
You know what's interesting? They got
What's that?
Dan Fielding back, their original actor.
Well, and it's unfortunate that because they had been banging around with a Night Court reboot or revival or what have you for many years, and then Harry Anderson died, and
He's gone.
yeah,
Probably
Marquis
most of them
Post
are gone.
passed away. The actor who played Mac passed away. I know that Richard Mall just recently celebrated a birthday. He is still with us.
So Bull's still around. Okay.
Bull is still around, but I am looking forward to that. And this is not a joke. I will more than likely be discussing that one in depth in our new show, Back to the Night Court, this Sunday night. So after I check that out,
Have you seen any footage at all of it?
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah, I
seen the
watched.
promos for it.
I saw like a little clip promo where there was it's interesting actually. I think it's the woman who plays the judge's daughter. She was actually in the Geek series,
The Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah, she was in the Big Bang Theory, and she's playing Judge Reinhold's daughter, and she goes and visits Dan in his apartment, and Dan is like this old, guy living alone. And I'm thinking, oh no, please don't make him some old bitter man like Luke Skywalker. That was my first thought, right? So fingers crossed. I hope they actually do something worthwhile with the character in the new spin-off or reboot or whatever.
Well, and just to close off the Night Court talk before we leap to 1973, Phil says, I saw the first 2 episodes of Night Court on Tuesday, and it was good. Captures the same spirit of the original and memories, and mentions Harry quite a bit.
Okay.
And yeah,
That'd be great. I hope it's good because I love Night Court, the original series. So
yeah.
And I like when you have Sunday shows, so I'll be happy to listen to your review of that.
Oh, perfect. So that'll be hopefully on Sunday night around 11:30 Eastern. So that will be that. But we have other imaging chambers to jump into today.
We do. Sam leaps on into September 26, 1973, into the place of Peter Langley, an FBI agent who lives in Boston, Brookshire, Maryland. In the teaser, he's supposed to be helping out this cute but extremely rude woman escape when when a drive-by shooting tries to take them down. When they escape, one of the drive-by shooters, Nikki, takes it out on the neighborhood and shoots everything up. So
Matt G is here. Hey, Matt G.
Hey, Matt G.
Now, so Sam's an FBI agent. Not that he knows that quite yet. And Donna, I always want to say Dana because of Ghostbusters, but right. Donna is his witness that he is protecting. Did you see who was shooting at them?
He looked familiar, but I can't place him.
Well, we'll get a better picture of it after the title credits here.
I didn't really pay attention to the credits, so I'm not sure who the actor is, but
there you go.
Cheers, Phil. Have a great evening. Thanks for stopping by. Did you see Nikki?
Well, we'll see him again.
Okay, all right. Because it's a quiz. It's a Star Trek quiz.
So far, we haven't seen a good close-up of him.
Okay. Well, and Donna is being, well, I guess she just got shot at. She's allowed to be on edge.
Yeah, and she's already outrageous, and Sam picks the stupidest thing you can ever say to that, which is to calm down.
Yes. Definitely not a good way to get someone to calm down. But she demands that she has to go see Richardson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She started working as Nick's personal secretary when she discovered that he was smuggling drugs and illegal aliens, and somehow Sam knows that Nick is supposed to be killed by a Colombian drug lord, but that didn't happen for another 3 years. I don't know how he knows that. I guess just because he retains a bit of the leapy, like we were saying at the beginning.
Well, and also, and as you'll remember, Sam has Swiss cheese memories because of partial amnesia due to the leaping, but he did attend MIT and he breezed through 4 years in 2. And
yes,
this
he got summa cum laude, which means he got a 3.9 GPA or higher.
Yes. However, MIT apparently does not give away Latin awards for their grade point averages, so that would actually be apocryphal.
No, isn't Al his hologram buddy or whatever here?
Yes, Al is a hologram that only Sam can see, and he is tuned to the muons in Sam's brain.
Doesn't Al bring up on his little device he's reading here that the gangster is supposed to die in 3 years?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
So that's how Sam would know then, right?
No. Because he says it before. Oh, I'm sorry, Jill.
Oh, he says it before? Oh, okay.
Yeah, by a Colombian drug lord. But
I wonder
before
if he
that,
got a Colombian necktie.
I don't know. But
do you know what a Colombian necktie is?
I don't think it's very nice, is
a
it?
hanging?
Isn't that a tire?
What is it?
Okay,
that's
so
they cut, tire, isn't it?
No, they cut your throat and then they pull your tongue out through the hole that they cut in your throat. That's a Colombian necktie. Yeah, it's very bad. It's very bad. You don't want one.
Boy, I thought it was the flaming tire put around your neck.
I've never heard of that.
I thought I read that somewhere. I could be totally wrong, but
either way,
that's even more horrific what you said, though, Scotty.
It's not pleasant. No.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't imagine so.
So this is Richardson, and Richardson is played. I don't know the actor's name, but I'll find out. Stanley Brock, and he played George's dad in UHF. Part of the fun of watching this is just going back and seeing the actors from things that I recognize. So
yeah, well, that's the only thing I recognized him from because I just saw UHF for the first time last year, so I know him as Uncle Harvey from that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the fun part of vintage TV is so many actors pop up that you recognize in something else. So.
Oh yeah. And so Richardson has intentions, and with Pete. They're going to take Donna to a safe house in where is it?
Baltimore.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I was going to say the place from The Wire, but
And the reason is because Nick wants to kill Dana for trying to turn him into the Justice Department. And Nick got away from imprisonment by buying off the jury, apparently. And since then, Dana has been in the witness protection program. But even though she's changed her identity twice, Nick keeps finding her and trying to kill her.
Yes.
In the original timeline, she is destined to die the same day Sam leaps into at 3:18 p.m. And the clock right now reads 10:42 a.m.
Yes. And I liked how this was sort of for some reason, I had some feeling that someone on the inside was going to double cross and was on the side of Nikki. And I thought it was going to be Richardson, but it wasn't.
I did too. Especially the way he said, it's either me or you.
Yeah. And so, Al is keeping everything up to date. Apparently, Donna is going to be found halfway to Baltimore, dead. And so all Sam has to do is make sure that doesn't happen. So he decides that they're going to go to a cabin that he went with a professor to see, and that's where they came up with the string theory that makes Quantum Leap, at least initially, plausible.
Yes, I love how that ties in with that Quantum Leap project.
Now, the only unfortunate thing about this episode is that it completely and totally destroys the entire timeline that Sam is from. So this is one of those ones where it kind of has to be a malleable timeline.
It is a malleable timeline. There's no doubt. That's how Quantum Leap is written. I don't say it yet. Hold on, let me find it.
Uh-oh.
Where I have a thing about it.
Do you have a clip?
No, I have a me, but you got ahead of my notes. Okay, so later on in the episode, Al tells us that Quantum Leap follows he confirms that Quantum Leap follows the paradox riddled single malleable timeline. And that's why it really, it makes no sense to even question it, because there's nothing to be argued about. If this show were following a more logical time travel mechanism, every leap would result in a new timeline. But we know that it can't be, because it's right in the theme song. We're putting right what once went wrong, which is in effect changing history. And so ultimately we are in a malleable timeline.
Yay!
So you got to love it or not.
I do. I love malleable timelines.
Apparently, while recognizing the logic of it and all of the trouble we're going to get into because of it.
Yes.
Well, doesn't her death time change like 2 or 3 times in the episode?
Which is very interesting.
Yes.
This is almost like, remember the subspace weapons in Star Trek Insurrection, and you eject the warp core pulls the subspace anomaly like a zipper, and it makes it follow the Enterprise. That's sort of what's happening here, because as we discover, as long as Pete is with Donna, then death is sure to follow.
Yeah, it seems to be definitely changeable.
But this is Edge of Time is here and says, timey-wimey. Yes.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, and so the same thing's going to happen to us next week, next Tuesday, when we review tomorrow's Yesterday. That everybody's going to be worried about changing the timeline. And yeah. So I'll continue with that in a little bit, because I have a little more on that.
See, and this is the reason why I thought Richardson was crooked, because I thought that he had his character flaw that was going to be exploited when he stands here and he says, could be worse. She could be short, fat, and ugly. And I was like, you're a joke.
So he's not the bad guy in this?
No, he doesn't seem to be.
Oh.
No, he's a little antagonistic, because
he's rough around the edges.
Dana says, you're treating me like a criminal.
So who was the inside guy that was was there any inside guy then or not?
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I must have got the wrong guy. I don't know. I'm still new to the show though, so.
I want that hat. I want that coat. I want that tie. Al is my fashion hero.
That is one pimpin' hat, I gotta say.
I gotta start smoking cigars. I want to model my entire life after Admiral Al Calavicci. So, outside of the federal building, we do have Nick Kochifos, and played by John Snyder, and Renee Asa as his, I guess, muscle. But this is where they hatch the plan to go up to the cabin where Sam and the professor, played by James Hardy, Professor Sebastian Lonegro, has a cabin. And so he's going just outside of Boston. And so he's going to take the cover truck to the cabin. And Nikki follows. And it's just bickering. Apparently they were in, was it New Orleans, where they had their tryst the first time that she was put in witness protection?
Yeah, she's lashing out against everyone because she's angry about being made a fool of for trying to turn Nick in and failing at it. And Sam tells her now that the attempt was courageous. And she says, no, what I did was stupid and I'm probably going to get killed because of it. And even if I don't, I'm going to spend the rest of my life pretending to be somebody else. And Sam says, I know that feeling. Because,
yes.
Of course, that's his same fate through leaping, of course.
Of course. Ashley Lynn, Gaia Storm is in the chat. Hey, y'all. Hey.
Hey, Ashley.
And what better way to help someone get through a shootout than jostling them while they're trying to drive?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
it'll always help.
Yes. And so
I love this scene.
But
like, how could she throw the laundry bags out of their car without falling out of the bloody truck, like when they're going that fast, right?
Well, and it also, when chasing and Nick's using the Uzi, he's got the convertible top half up, and it's like, that's gonna fly off. That's totally gonna fly off.
Yeah, not only that, but it's really implausible that some laundry is going to drive you off the road. The laundry bags had to have been full of like bricks or something. I don't know.
She had great balance, though, not to topple out of there and kill herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all part of the cosmic time plan. She was to be killed, not accidentally fall out of the back of a laundry truck.
Well, at this point, it's already past 3:18, so she already missed her first deadline to be killed. So that means that the timeline has changed. We're in a malleable timeline, and now she's going to be killed at a different time.
Yes. But we pull up and head to, and Donna does accuse Pete or Sam of being lost.
Yes, she briefly forgets that she's supposed to be angry and hug Sam, as we saw earlier, but then she quickly remembers and she coils at him and starts, being rude again. Yes. So Sam says, to the moon, making a reference to the honeymooners. And even though I've never seen an episode.
Oh,
I know
you're missing a great. You got to see the classic 39. Those are the key ones, Jill. 39 episodes that they actually filmed on. They actually filmed on, I think, film. Most of them were on videotape, I think. So, but the 39 episodes are the ones to definitely see. Yeah.
And this is where we find out that Nick is in possession of the property of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, has the briefcase scanner worthy of any late 80s, early 90s Mission Impossible tracking device.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll be right back.
For sure. So they're driving, and Donna does accuse Sam of, so when you're just driving aimlessly, does this mean you're lost? We're not going to Baltimore. I know that. And he says, Sam says, change my mind. I'm going to take you to a cabin. It'll be safer there. People won't know you're there, and it will help avoid the potential pursuers.
One thing, Scotty.
What's that?
About her character is, I made some notes while I was watching it last night, and I put down, she flip-flops more often than a dying fish reeled in.
It's true. She's
hostile, then she's hugging him, then she wants to make love to him, and then she's angry again, and it's kind of a weird character, really.
Well, I think it's the trauma of being like she's been shot at twice today as well, as
Mm,
Sam mentions.
mm,
And
true
so
enough.
she
Good
feels that she's
good
put
point.
herself into this position, and she doesn't necessarily trust Sam or Pete very much in this situation either.
Good
And
point.
so,
Yeah.
but you're right. I think that's part of the tongue-in-cheek humor of the title of the episode of Her Charm is that she's not necessarily consistent.
Yeah, I thought she didn't have a whole lot of charm sometimes, actually.
Well, and I forgot to mention the actress who
More
does
towards the end. But I'm
more.
sorry, the actress?
The actress who plays Donna is Terry Austin. Now, Todd Michael from the chat, uh, not here currently, but I know that he is a huge fan of Knots Landing. Uh, she played Jill Bennett on 99 episodes of Knots Landing and apparently has one of the better cliffhangers from that television series. So shout
Wow.
out to Todd Michael and his love of Knots Landing.
Well,
That's
you
a
know
lot of
what?
episodes.
Even though we're saying that she's annoying because she's really good at it. And
Oh,
she's really
yeah.
great at going from that to being more sensitive later on. So she changes her personality a little bit, very subtly. And I think that she does a really great job.
Yeah, she was effective in the role for sure. Yep.
And when they get to the cabin, Sam and Dana, Dana asks Sam when the last time he was there. And he said the summer of 1973, which is the year that they leapt into.
Mm-hmm.
So then he corrects himself. Oh, I meant 53. Just to say it was 20 years ago.
It would have been a month ago based on what he had said,
Mm.
which means, yeah. So I guess that's kind of cool that he's there. It would have been cool if he had found something of his there.
Well, he does, a picture.
Well, a picture, yes, but I mean something that would have been useful for the plot, not just a reference. Although I guess it is kind of useful to the plot because that makes Sam warm up to Dana a little bit more when she says, "Oh, he's cute."
Yeah, she does. They have some kind of romantic chemistry that they cannot fulfill. And and then I know she has a valid reason for being on edge, but she continues to be negative even after they talk heart to heart. So I think that's just her normal instinctive defense mechanism because her life is in danger
Mm-hmm.
and that she's nowhere near resolving it.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, until her life is out of danger, you got to have priorities. Actually, you know what's funny? I just realized that this is the episode Sam gets all wet and has to change his clothes. Usually that's what the lady does in these times of peril.
That's right. She throws the gun at him and he fumbles with the gun and falls into the lake.
And I really like the acting choice because when Sam is juggling the gun after it gets tossed to him, he tries to catch it. And then when he falls into the water, he's holding the gun up so it doesn't get wet. I really love that. I really enjoyed that because usually it's just, oh, I fell in the water. The gun's wet. It won't make any difference. Now, I don't know if it does make a difference, but it's more believable that he actually, as a person who doesn't necessarily use a gun all the time, oh, got to keep this dry. It's like a phone.
Yeah, it was kind of like an instinctive thing, I guess. He just figured, oh, better keep that out of the water.
Yeah.
And Alice here telling Sam he's changed the timeline so that now Dana is going to be killed at a different place and a different time. So in order to just, enjoy the story, just remember we're in a malleable timeline. And
well, yeah, and this is one of the few times that we actually see the timeline change around. Like nothing actually changes around them except for the fact that Dana is alive.
Well, this might be the second time because it happened the first time during the court case when the judge changed from the old man to the lady.
Yes, that's true.
But there is a nice whooshing sound effect for the imaging chamber door, so that was fun.
Yes, and Donna's all upset because there is no food, there's no tea, there's no coffee, and the only thing that she could find were these hairy little fish.
Yeah, some sardines.
Which
Those are bad looking sardines.
I've never seen a good
They
one.
look, they look like they've been in the cabin way too many years, though.
They're a lot better with Tabasco sauce.
True. Very true. But yeah, Donna can tell, like, Sam's not even trying to hide his talking to Al, and she catches him a couple of times.
Yeah, you should probably stop that, or people will think you're Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm. And so this is just discussing what's going on, how they're going to deal with everything, and how Sam just found out from Al that they are coming still. She's going to die at 4 something or other in the morning. And so Sam is freaking out.
Yeah, and the gas gauge was stuck this whole time, so now they're out of fuel because the gas gauge was lying to them.
Gee, that's coincidence, eh?
Well, it's a car from the 70s. I don't disbelieve
it. Plot device. I love it.
Well, there have to be devices in the plot so that the plot can happen. Exactly.
But I love, I was just thinking, these shows from these eras, they kind of have these tropes, right? Where, there's a stuck gas gauge, or, it's the woman in distress with the, the hero's got to, protect her. And it's like we see this kind of thing over and over. But if it's well written, it still works, right?
Well, and also, yeah, I think it works. And also the actors are really good at portraying the character dynamics as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you got a good cast, they can pretty much sell anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a good Quantum Leap episode definitely depends on a great supporting cast and supporting cast, and this one is really fun. And did we say hello to Ashley and Sci-Fi Nation?
I said hello to Ashley, but I'll never get upset about saying it again. But hello to Sci-Fi Nation.
Yeah, hi, Sci-Fi Nation.
And going back to the gun fumble, this is it. I got each still as Sam
nice.
falls into the lake.
See, and he's got and she thinks he's an idiot.
Of course.
As usual.
Why me?
Yep.
And around here, I noticed that I really like the way that they make interludes of the theme music throughout the episode. That's really fun for me.
Well, it's one of my favorite theme songs, so if they do little short snippets of it, I'm happy.
Me too. So Sam has a lot of romantic encounters by this episode, but this is the first time that one actually encounters a photo of his real self and comments how cute he is.
He's got kind eyes.
And so they have a really nice moment with she couldn't find any tea, so it's just hot water. And they have a great time until she notices the phone number on the matchstick, and she knows whose phone number this is. She goes,
freaks out.
And she runs off. And the
well, not before trying to shoot Sam, but Al is like, don't worry about it. Safety's on. She can't do anything. So she tries to shoot him, throws the gun, and then runs away.
Honestly, that would be me with the gun. Safety, what safety? And the matches have Nick's phone number on it, proving that Peter was the mole the entire time, which is why Nick was able to keep finding Dana.
Yes. Because I guess he's carrying, or he had a tracker with him?
On the van. There was a...
Oh, okay.
There was a tracker on the van, yes. So, of course, Sam, not actually being Peter, rushes to Dana's rescue, but is wise enough to see that Peter is working for Nick, so she runs in the woods to avoid both men. Al helps Sam track her, which is what I mean by having more Al. And Al's being very useful and helpful in this episode.
Oh, my stars and garters. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation, for the $2. Appreciate it, sir. 6 and a 4, Scotty. Yes, that is, you know what? If you want it for $2, I'll roll you a 6 and a 4. I just got to get my cup.
And your dice.
And my dice. But Sam chases after Donna.
Yeah,
and,
go ahead.
Okay. Wait, no, please, heavens.
No, you're better at the action scenes. I'm being serious.
So Al has found Dana, and she's been winged. She's been shot in the arm, and he's calling to Sam. And I know you can't call back, so I'll just keep talking until you show up. And so Sam follows Al's voice and runs up, and then Dana is her usual charming self.
Uh,
Hit Sam with a blunt object.
Yes,
yeah, that was pretty good. What, did she hit him with a branch or something there? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
that was good.
And so she runs off into Murder Peak.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Yeah, she's at the precipice, so she has a choice to either jump or face her killers.
And this is an interesting tactic because I don't think, aside from what was the name of the little girl in Another Mother?
The name of the
Catherine?
little girl. All I think of is Troyan because that's her real name.
No, remember the one who knew all the dinosaurs that Al is going to go and see eventually again.
Yeah, I know her as Troyan. I don't know her actual little girl name.
Fair enough. So Troyan, they tell Troyan that that they're from the future, but this is the first time that an adult has been let in on the know that Sam is, or Pete is actually Sam.
And that is a good thing that they do that, because otherwise she actually might have been in love with Pete if she thought that it was actually Pete. So knowing that it's actually somebody else was good.
Yeah.
Otherwise she would have been visiting that jail and stuff, and it would have been weird.
And so meanwhile, Al is sort of, they're coming. Hey guys, they're on their way up here. And so they embrace, and Sam explains to Dana what's going on. And please just trust me. Don't worry about this. I am not Pete. And she's like, you're not? It's like, nope, but just go with this and trust me. Now, before we get to the exciting climax, Jill, do you know who this guy is?
He does look familiar, but I didn't look up.
He really does.
If you are a Star Trek The Next Generation fan and you remember the episode, The Masterpiece Society, the one with the completely enclosed dome.
No, I hate that episode.
He is the leader of the colony.
Okay, that's why I don't remember him.
Bad,
I'm trying to blank that episode out of my memory.
Oh my god, that was like, here's eugenics, and it's a great thing according to the Masterpiece Society, anyway.
You
and
know,
so that was not a good one.
I was hoping it would be something good he was in before Scotty.
Hey, if you're in Star Trek The Next Generation, that's a good television show that I haven't been a part of. So, and
I'd be happy to be even in a bad episode.
I'd be in Code of Honor.
You would.
No vaccine. Anyway, come on, your comfortable blankets of old television shows, even ones that are bad, they're still pretty good. I'll watch them.
So you don't want to be the character that was only in scenes with Wesley, then, right, Scotty?
Depends on whatever. I'd be Geordie, sure.
Sorry, cheap shot.
So this would be the why did you want to? Why did you have to kill her? And then Nick is just hell-bent for leather, and he was banging everyone in Miami just thinking it was Dana because he was in love with her, and
he has kind of like a psychopathic kind of love.
Yeah, that was a weird line. It's like he's banging everything that walks, and he's in love with her, but he's banging everybody else.
That doesn't make sense.
No, that was crazy, that line. Well, I guess he's crazy, so it kind of makes sense that way. Yeah. Yikes. And this guy, who's this guy? This guy looks familiar too.
I don't know. He didn't.
He kind of is. I barely know that his name is Andy in this episode.
Is it Andy? And we do have a graphic. I can take away the in the loop thing, and there you go. Now you can see Edge of Time. It is our good friend PvP who has joined us on the leap. There was a request. Who is this dink's name that I cannot see? Well, there.
Oh, thanks. Oh, boy.
And, oh, man, is that a shooting face or what? But, yeah, he unloads. He shoots him like 6 times.
Certainly does.
Yeah,
And
he
then
had to sit out.
Uh,
and then Andy comes and picks him up, and it's like, why'd you have to do it, Nikki?
I told
actually,
you God didn't want her to die.
I like that scene actually when his his henchman came up and was so broken up, losing his partner in crime, so to speak. I thought that was kind of a touching scene for a couple of bad men.
Well, it seems that the actor who played Andy was Rene Assa, ASSA. I'm not just swearing arbitrarily. And he was born in 1944 and he
Uh-huh.
died in 2002 at the
Hmm.
age of 57.
Oh,
And
that's
for
young.
his best known for, he seems to have done a lot of television. He was in the
Hmm.
Flash television show. He was in Baywatch. He was also in the Lawrence Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum movie Deep Cover, but I do
Hmm.
not recall him from any of those things. And Lemon is here. Hey, Lemon Pie.
Hi, Lemon.
Ooh.
Hello,
Says
Lemon.
to Jill, to me, and to PvP.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Yeah, that was a touching scene, I thought. I was actually kind of surprised they throw a little twist like that in there, because usually these gangster type guys, they don't really, give much of a care if one of their.
Well, that's a great thing about Quantum Leap, because even when you have a bad character, Quantum Leap actually makes them a human being. There's still a touch of humanity in everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he really showed that, he had feelings there, right? That he actually cared about this guy, even though he was an evil guy. But I thought it was great.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like the guy who tends to the Rancor in Return of the Jedi. Even the Rancor had a best friend who was sad when the Rancor died.
Hmm.
Remember that big topless fat guy who cried when the Rancor got crushed in the head?
Oh, geez. Actually, I'm kind of glad I don't remember it.
Oh, it's touching. It's touching. I
I
love
haven't
Return
seen
of the
Jedi in
Jedi.
so long.
Return of
I
the Jedi is such a comfort food.
yeah.
So Sam has now rescued Dana and is basically outlining what's going on in terms of giving her the gun to cover Pete, because when Sam leaps out, Pete's going to be he's going to be some pissed.
Yes. But even still, Dana can't forget what Sam did as Peter. So she speaks up for him in a testimony to get him 8 to 10 years instead of 15 to 20.
Right.
And then she goes on to become a lawyer and marries.
Marries Professor Le Negro.
I thought that was a great twist too. She
Well,
marries the
and
professor.
yeah, I want to find out. Because this guy James Hardy, I wanted to see what James Hardy had been in.
That's a familiar name, actually, James
Well,
Hardy.
go ahead and check it out. We've got some
Yeah,
time.
he was a reporter in Ghostbusters. He was a record room guard in Death Warrant. Doesn't seem to be a whole heck of a lot going on in
Hmm.
his career.
Well, that's okay. But
Oh,
Sam was really excited to talk to him and say, "Hey, I'm actually Sam."
yeah,
But as he was trying to do that, he gets leapt away.
yes. So that's two things that are like sort of drastically changed for the timeline that we're dealing with. One, that Nikki gets killed 3 years early, and
Hmm.
telling Dr. Lenegro, is it Lenegro? Denegro? I feel wrong saying that name,
Yes, I understand. But you're saying
but
it correctly. You're
I
okay.
am.
Hey,
That's just his
Lenegro.
name. I
if
don't know.
I
it's
I
his
know.
never.
name, it's his name. It's
It's
okay,
his,
Scotty.
we're gonna be saying Redskins all through the next episode
Oh
That's
anyway.
yeah.
right.
So
Oh yeah.
as in the football team, peoples. So,
Yes.
but
But
yes,
overall, I think this was a sweet and funny action adventure episode with romance that didn't get too much in the way of the story, especially since Dana behaves terribly towards Sam, so it's kind of funny until the last 15 minutes when she becomes sweet for a little bit until she discovers the matches. So it was just fun.
no, I really enjoyed. I thought it was fun, and it was kind of the same situation that we had with Another Mother last week. Is that this episode just seemed to fly by.
Agreed.
Yeah, it did go by pretty good. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of them to really know how to accurately, rate this. I thought it was good. but I don't want to rate it too high because I'm sure there must be better episodes.
Well, don't worry about it because we don't rate these.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't. Oh, great. Oh, great. I enjoyed it. I'll say that much.
And that's all we're looking for. Like when it comes to this, because it is contentious, it's more of a science fiction, or I would say not even a science fiction fantasy, but more of like a time travel fantasy soap opera that has elements
more
of
of a
action.
fantasy.
It's like a morality play of sorts. They
Mm.
even mention it in the next episode, Freedom, when it's you don't truly know a man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins, and that's exactly what this show is you really learn about the characters that Sam inhabits by walking a mile in their shoes.
Yeah, I mean, he walks in a lot of different shoes, so yeah.
And again, just with the television that's coming out today, and if there's stuff that you don't enjoy, whether it be reboot or new properties, and they're too cynical or political with the modern age, these are just sort of different perspectives. It's like a warm hug. Usually by the time I hit a Thursday afternoon, I'm kind of burnt out from the week with the stuff that I got to do,
Tell me
and
about it.
and watching and watching something like this it makes me feel feelings, because it's like Sam is such a good man, and the friendship between Sam and Al and the adventures through time, you do learn certain things just in terms of the time frames. Now right now these two episodes we're just hanging out in the 70s, and
Well,
you'd
it's
be happy
comfort
to
food. It's
yeah
comfort food. It's like a big bowl of mac and cheese. At least you know what that means, Scotty. I'm not sure if Jill knows what mac and cheese is, but
macaroni and cheese.
Why would I not understand macaroni and cheese?
oh, I thought maybe I heard that was a Canadian thing, but
No, it's
maybe I'm wrong.
KD. If you call it craft dinner, that's
Oh, I should have called
primarily
it craft dinner. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, Jill. I didn't mean to be rude.
Well, I don't
How
know.
the-
I know
how the-
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah,
Hello.
but if I'd said KD, maybe
Americans
you would
love
have.
cheese, so
Yeah.
no
Okay,
problem.
but I was thinking of KD. Scotty's right. I didn't call it the right thing.
We know
No,
what craft is too.
What?
You have craft dinner too? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys.
No,
did.
we have all the cheese here.
Well, we've
You
been
get-
misinformed, Scotty.
I had no doubt that Jill knew what macaroni and cheese did.
No, but I didn't know if she knew craft dinner because I didn't
Either
know if
way,
that was a thing down there. Anyway, let's
next time
go
we
on
have
to
a
the next episode.
potluck,
I'm still trying to pull the shoe out of my mouth, so let's continue to the next episode.
you're good as gold. I've already said Le Negro like 17 times in the terms of a professor.
Yeah,
And we
the
have-
professor who was studying quantum physics with Sam, and their theories were the baby steps towards the quantum leap project becoming a thing.
Were you kind of tickled when Al said, "Well, you can't see me. I'm a hologram. I'm tuned to your muons." And I was like, "Did they just say muon?" That's
Mhm.
great. You never hear that in prime
That
time
is
television.
great. Muons don't last very long. They turn into something else, but they enter our atmosphere for a while. So it's interesting that they're harnessing that somehow.
A muon is an elementary particle similar to an electron with an electric charge of -1 e and a spin of 1/2, but with a much greater mass. It is classified as a lepton. Anyway,
Wow. I'm amazed that the writers would have put something like that in a show back then. Man, writing was so much better in those days. I mean, you never
Yes.
get that in a
Well,
show now.
we're bombarded by them every day. You don't see them, but they're there.
Well, that's good. I'd probably get confused if I was seeing them constantly.
well, and we've sort of likened this show to something like Highway to Heaven, which has much more of a spiritual through line as opposed to this one. Like
Yeah.
the stories in Highway to Heaven are the morality tales of going from town to town and helping people that are in need, and that's
listen,
how it.
Isn't Michael Lannon's character in that an angel or something?
Absolutely, but you
Yeah.
get sort of the parables of Christianity in the Bible in that television show, which hangs on, which is sort of decoration surrounding the morality tales and the helping other people, whereas this, the going from time to time and helping people, is sort of hung on the conceit that it is a science fiction television show. That's how we can do all these crazy things. So they do throw out, like there've been great scientific interactions that Jill just has a party for every time it happens, and I
Yes.
get giddy for it as well.
We don't so much get that here, but every once in a while it shows up.
Now this episode is called Freedom.
Yes,
And
it first aired on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1990. And it was written by Chris Rupenthal and directed by John Cullum. And I did not look into those guys to see what they'd done before.
Let's see, Alan J. Levi. See, I'm gushy. I'm just playing on the lot of television. It appears. Not much. Oh, 75 director credits.
Oh, I got the director wrong. It's Alan J. Levi. Sorry, but I got the writer correctly. Correct. So it was written by Chris
Rupenthal. Yes. Sorry, I went to the director first, and then Chris Rupenthal, best known for Quantum Leap. Oh, he did an Outer Limits. He did. This is for being a producer. Let's see. For a writer, he has 16 writing credits. And
so he was part of the Quantum Leap team for 64 episodes.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot.
And
because there's only like 97 episodes of this show, wasn't there?
Of Quantum Leap?
Yeah, wasn't it around 97?
I'm not 100% sure on the full run. But, he wrote 6 episodes of Lois and Clark. He wrote 2 episodes of The X-Files. He had a story by in a Max Headroom episode. We can go through Max Headroom if you want to.
That's an idea.
It is an idea. Thank you for not confirming or denying right away.
Yeah, I have to think about it.
But this one was originally aired on Valentine's Day, and I don't know, Jill, what do you think? Is this Chakotay the episode?
Yes, sort of.
Because
yes.
Well, I was kind of curious about it because I don't
know.
I don't know how much of this. I thought that this was an interesting episode just based on the culture that was presented with and they refer to themselves as Indians throughout the episode. So that's the nomenclature that I will use. I didn't know if this was just sort of what white men think of Indians, or if this was actually based on any kind of reality. And one of the things that was interesting is that Al even says, like, Al is a very worldly Renaissance man when it comes to cultures and social movements, and he's on board with everything that's going on here. I just didn't know how much of it was a reality in terms of the philosophy.
Yes, me neither, because I don't know much about Native American culture either. But I do know that Sam leaps in on November 22nd, 1977 into George Washakie, I don't know if I say that right, who lives in Nevada. He's in prison. He's getting beaten up and taken back to his prison cell, where he finds out he's Native American, or as he's referred to in this episode, an Indian, which actually many do accept the term, even though it comes from Columbus not realizing that he was not in India. And as a result, there are many Native Americans who accept being called an Indian just because of it's their name, and so they own it. So I don't know who prefers what name or the other name. So I just use Native American because I'm comfortable with it, because I was a 90s kid.
I think too, actually, Jill, I just want to interject for a second. I think, considering this episode takes place in 1977, that that term Indian was probably much more common back in those days than it is
absolutely now. Yes. So period wise, you're absolutely right. It makes sense to use it.
I think it might be more reflective of the period. We actually refer to them as First Nations here in Canada most of the time.
That is, yes, that is, and I because there are so many preferred, just for the purposes of this episode, I'm going to stick with what they refer to them as,
Oh, yeah.
themselves. Just for me, and whatever
No,
you
I mean,
feel more comfortable with.
let's be faithful to the episode. I think you're right, Scotty.
Accepted, Scotty. You
Okay.
use
Yeah,
We'll,
Indian's acceptable
we'll say
terminology for this.
what
I
we
think.
what
Well,
we
and
want.
it even later, and I don't want to. I don't think that that's a hard and fast rule, because even later on, when they do get to the cave, and Noonie does create fire. Al is like, "Oh, we're gonna see."
Oh, I love this. That's
We're
one of the
seeing
best jokes of the episode.
absolutely.
That was
And
good.
we're gonna see one of the greatest ancient arts of the West, of the Old West. And so he doesn't even say, like, he doesn't lean on the name, either whether it be Native or Indian or First Name. He just refers to him as a man, which I think is, that's my preferred utopian future, where you judge a person based on the content of their character as opposed to
Yeah,
exactly. Because
exactly.
no matter what you call, like, categories are not necessary when you just learn who a person is as an individual, and that's more important. And Joseph is a really particularly fun individual.
Yes.
He is.
It reminded me as sort of like an old-timey bucket list kind of movie. You ever see that? Or TV show? You ever see the movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, where they
Yes.
develop their bucket list? Yeah, that's what
All I
this looks
remember
like.
is
I
that
haven't
movie.
seen it, but I understand the term.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that movie made me cry at some point.
Oh, it's that good.
It was great. It's great.
Darn, I need to watch that one.
So Sam is instructed by Joseph that they need to get out of there, or else they'll spend a decade in prison.
There he is.
Who's the fellow that plays the elderly Indian gentleman?
Hang on just one second.
He was really good in this.
He was, but also I wanted to give a big shout out to Leon Rippey.
Yes, I was going to mention that later too, but I wasn't going to give it away this early.
I'll hold off. I just saw his credit.
I don't know if Jill's realized the connection, but she probably has. I mean,
I like that Joseph is messing with the prison guard, saying that he turned Sam into a raven, and he didn't escape because he can only transfigure into a wolf. And so he makes jokes like this throughout the whole episode for everyone. He doesn't. It's kind of like he's like a South Park episode, making fun of everyone equally.
And the gentleman who played Joseph was Frank Salcido.
Oh, okay. Did he have any other known famous credits?
It looks like he was in a lot of television shows playing Native Americans, because he is in Northern Exposure, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
there's some pretty major stuff then. Okay.
Yeah, and and Almost Heroes, which is the Chandler and Chris Farley comedy. But yeah, he played a lot of Native Americans.
Well, this prank about the animals, changing the animals, it works to convince the guard that George must be missing. So Sam is able to knock him out while the guard is looking around for him. And then they lock him in the cell and run off with the truck that got them in trouble in the first place. And we learned that Sam knows how to hotwire a car.
Well, he's an engineer. I don't see why he wouldn't know how to.
Exactly. And I don't know much about Native American culture, but I'm pretty sure that stealing, even in the vein of borrowing it, is not part of it. I think that that's just a trait to the individual of Joseph in this particular instance of him trying his essential goal of wanting to choose where he dies.
Yeah, I think it was more a necessity than character why he stole the truck.
Well, and again, that's sort of part of the reason why it reminds me of the bucket list. It's like going on that one last road trip to feel alive, because the driving thrust for Joseph is that he doesn't want to be locked in a cage. He doesn't want to be hooked up to machines,
Yeah,
trying to be kept alive. He wants to quote a song, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me
exactly.
in.
He
Yeah,
wants to go back home.
Yeah.
and
But
he wants to feel in a place where he's comfortable instead of in some sterile environment where he's, being kept alive by all these machines. Yeah.
Well, and of course, the person who is trying to keep him alive is Suzanne. She comes along to find him, and she wants to return her grandfather back to the nursing home. But the sheriff says that her grandfather and her brother are in too much trouble for that to happen. So, and then he's kind of rude to her, saying that she can't come along because she's not a deputy, but she ends up part of the story anyway, so don't worry about that.
yes. And so
She was good in a minor role too, this actress, I thought.
and
She was
lots
only
of
in it a
television
few minutes, really, but she was good.
So Tom Everett as Deputy Sheriff Hazlitt was in Air Force One
Mhm.
as National Security Jack Dougherty. But not only that, he was also in Star Trek The Next Generation episode, The Neutral Zone, the one where people from the 90s were frozen and brought back to the 24th century.
That's
That's the
not
one.
Tom Everett.
Oh,
That's
oh.
not Tom Everett, though.
But
Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
not Tom Everett.
No, that was a different sheriff. You're right. That doesn't look like him.
It's
But
Leon
it is
Rippey.
Rippey. Leon Rippey, that's who it was. See, I was
But-
trying to figure out which sheriff was the right one. Sorry.
Played Sonny. He wants a guitar. Where you got on TV? Where'd
He
move
was
to?
he was
Oh,
the guy.
right.
He wanted to get
Because this is
bourbon
Taggart.
and party with Data, didn't he?
Yes.
This guy right here.
No, not this guy. This is Taggart.
I thought that was okay. I need to see the other guy then.
Mhm.
They look kind of similar a little bit.
A little bit.
That guy.
That's probably why I got confused.
But he kind of reminds me of Brian Dennehy from Rambo, just the small
Okay.
town sheriff.
This is actually Leon Rippey.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, what is he in? I don't even know any of these things.
Well, and it's
1600?
always it's disappointing to see Leon Rippey in things, because the first time I ever encountered this actor was in Neutral Zone, and I always thought he was fun and goofy, and he was a great comedic actor in a serious situation. And every time I saw him in anything after that, he always plays a bad guy. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's kind of.
Oh, okay.
fortunate.
He is the
Yeah.
one from the Neutral Zone episode, but
Yeah,
I just misnamed him.
I kind of
Yes.
thought he was.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's why I was flipping out a little bit.
Oh, you thought he was the older guy with like the stock portfolio?
I don't know. I got everybody mixed up. I'm sorry.
Either way, at least
That's
he's not
okay.
that jerk with the eugenics dome.
Yeah, no, he's the one who wanted to be friends with Data
Yes.
and play
Yes.
music. And he wanted to turn on the TV. How do you turn
Yes.
on the TV?
And it looks like Lemon Pie's got to go. Good
Oh.
night.
Good night, Lemon Pie.
Thanks for stopping by, sir. And so, yes, Suzanne wants to get in, and the sheriff says nope, and starts heading after the fugitives.
Yes, this is the part where you were mentioning earlier, where Sam says there's an old Indian expression that says you should never judge a man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins. But what I found is that quote actually comes from a Mary T. Lathrop poem, who she may have been influenced to write it due to interactions with Native Americans, but there isn't any definitive story behind it. But the language of the poem seems to definitely suggest it. I'll just read a verse of it.
Oh.
Remember to walk a mile in his moccasins, and remember the lessons of humanity taught to you by your elders. We will be known forever by the tracks we leave in other people's lives, our kindness and generosity.
That's a beautiful poem. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks
That's
for
longer
doing the
than that.
research, Jill. Well, yeah, but thanks for the research. I appreciate that. That's cool. I never knew that. I never knew where that saying came from.
Yeah, sometimes I like to look into it.
Yeah,
And George's grandfather, Joseph, starts singing Oklahoma, but he calls it Nevada. And then he starts having a wheezing fit. So Sam, being a doctor, knows immediately that he has emphysema and that he needs oxygen. And then Al is dressed in some adorable Western clothing.
Wow.
I want that hat. I want that coat. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
smoking cigars.
Al's got some nice coats.
Oh, the entire fashion sense of Al Calavicci is second to none. We're still working on getting a Ziggy for Halloween.
I'm loving the shirt too. I mean, the shirt was like, wow.
Well, Ziggy evolves over the season, so we're going to get the Ziggy the way she becomes, or
the
he
final
becomes.
form.
Final form.
And so and this is one of those odd situations in Quantum Leap, because most of the time when Sam is leaping, he is under the assumption that he's like, okay, so I have to save this person. I have to help him live. And Al drops the bombshell. It's like, no, you're supposed to help him die. And it's like, but he doesn't have to. He can get medical attention. We can take him to the hospital. And it's like, that's not what he wants. That's not what we're doing.
Yes, because Joseph wants to die where he was born, but Sam has issue with that because he's a physician and he knows that Joseph needs oxygen. So as a doctor who wants to heal, this goes against everything that he believes in. And Al counters that Joseph wants to die away from a hospital bed, and that if Joseph makes it to a reservation, the cops can't get in to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joseph wants to die on his own terms, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then Al tells a difficult truth when he says, if Joseph goes back, the last thing he's going to get is adequate medical care. In fact, you'll be lucky if the both of you don't get shot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And they do, and in this time and this day and age, he's going to jail or he's going to get shot. They're not necessarily the highest of the regarded people.
And they do mention the tribe. Their tribe is the Shoshone Indians. And Joseph is full-blooded Shoshone. And George actually just reunited with him just yesterday and hadn't seen him since he was 14. And Joseph calls George Togo, which means grandson, and Canu, meaning grandfather. Canu. See, I'm messing up these words. I really feel bad about it.
You're saying it, and I'm repeating it after you, so I know how to pronounce. And Captain Finity is here. Hello, Captain Finity. Drinks and top heads to you too.
Hi, Captain.
So Sam eventually concedes to take Joseph to the reservation if he'll see a doctor. So he's balanced it out in his mind how he can fulfill Joseph's dying wishes and his own morality.
I really enjoyed the response that Joseph gives to George, and he's like, all right, I'll take you as long as you see a doctor. And then Joseph is like, okay, but I don't know if I can help him. And it's just everything. The whimsy coming from it is just, I really appreciate the character, even though they are, grandfather and grandson on the lam.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Just a fun dynamic.
Yeah,
Joseph is delightful.
Humor helps a lot when you're going through bad times, that's for sure.
Well, they did just break out of jail. There are no worst of times.
Well, he's not well either, right? So, I mean,
true.
But that's also his personality. I don't see him any other way.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Well, and even as he and I guess we'll get there. We'll get there. I don't have to spoil it. But is this yeah? So there we have Sonny. I'm going to refer to him as a Star Trek name from now on. Okay. We have Sonny chasing after, and Suzanne is going to get on the horn with George and Joseph through Taggart.
Yeah. So for some reason, that truck has a CB radio.
And that is a plot contrivance.
Well, CB radios were huge back in the 70s.
Right, but it's just funny that he stole a van or a truck that happened to have a
Well,
CB
I
radio.
gotta say, probably a lot of them did back then, Scotty, because I had a friend that actually had one of those set up in his bedroom, and he would talk on it for hours every weekend. It was a big thing. A lot of truckers had them, and yeah, it was huge back then. I mean, I think you had to, sort of be back in that era to really, know about it, but it was a big thing.
Fair enough. I wonder if it had a stuck fuel gauge.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. So they stop off at the trading post, and
Yes, because Joseph wants to buy some buffalo hides.
mhm.
And Sam and Al get nostalgic about sweets. And we also learn that Sam's dad died when Sam was 21, just like George. So, and also of note, George and Joseph's last names are Washakie, and Fort Washakie, Wyoming, is where I hope I'm saying this name right. Chief Washakie lived to be 100 years old. He died in the year 1900. In 1840, he was the last principal chief of the Shoshone tribe.
Oh my stars.
Mm-hmm. So I guess they don't have money to buy anything, so they trade a gun that they also didn't own.
That was funny too when he pulled the gun out and the guy's like, "Oh no!" He thought he was gonna get shot or
Yeah,
something.
that poor shop owner was so sweet. He didn't.
He was very understanding considering the circumstances. Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't deserve to get frightened like that.
yeah, that was good.
But also, what that trading allowed them to do was also get the oxygen tank.
Right.
Righto. Yes.
And many souvenirs from the trading post. There's yellow paint. There's a feather for Joseph. And here we go. We have the transistor radio, and he's listening to the Redskins Cowboys game.
And I heard somewhere, I don't really know, that this actual game, the Redskins do not win.
Yes, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Washington Redskins 45-21.
Wow, good research.
Nice.
But doesn't change hey, I live in Toronto, where a bunch of people who know a losing team think that the Toronto Maple Leafs are the best hockey team in the entire league. So you don't necessarily have to be a winning team to like them.
1967 was their last Stanley Cup, wasn't it?
Not in my lifetime. So
well, barely in mine.
Even if I could quantum leap, I couldn't get back to a Leafs victory. But
Suzanne calls by radio to ask George to bring Joseph back.
Sorry about the sports ball, Jill.
By the way,
that's okay. I just don't know how to talk about it.
Fair enough.
Do the Redskins even exist anymore, or were they forced to change their name?
No, they still. That's right. That is an interesting point that I do know how to talk about. Joseph is apparently a fan of the Redskins football team, even though these days that name has been canceled. They are now called the Washington Football Team.
Oh, well, there's a creative name. Washington Football Team? Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I didn't really look too much in I know the controversy is that the word Redskin obviously is racist, but
yeah, I remember.
I know everybody
maybe
was
3 years ago they changed their name or something. Yeah,
they did, and everybody was split on the reasoning for that. But I don't know football. I don't have any dog in this fight.
Me neither. Yeah,
but it's interesting just watching this episode because it didn't even occur to me that there was the Dallas Cowboys and then they would play the Washington Redskins, and you would have, for lack of a better term, a football game of Cowboys versus Indians. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. That makes for a great rivalry. And I don't know, like I am not, obviously I'm not First Nations. I am not a Native American. So I don't know what the community regards the Washington Redskins as. The only point of reference that I know is when it came to the Hispanic community in Southern California, when they tried to eliminate Speedy Gonzalez. the first people who were up in arms, from what I understand, were the Hispanic
Well,
community.
because Speedy
you're
Gonzales is cool.
Yeah, you're taking away a representation of us, and it's like,
Mhm.
so when it
And
comes
plus,
to
yeah, and Speedy Gonzales wasn't even the racist one. That was Slowpoke Rodriguez, who did
That's-
marijuana and was lazy.
yes,
So that was the racist one, not Speedy. He's fine.
nothing but siestas. Is it siestas? Is that naps?
And even Slowpoke was kind of cool too, because you think he's like, you think he's the stereotypical, but then when it comes down to it, he can kick some ass.
He's just laid back.
Yeah, he's just laid back.
Uh,
So I could speak on that pretty well, but I think maybe a good idea would have been not to just completely eliminate the Native American culture from the Redskins name, but maybe pick a different name that still represented their culture, but in a different way. But they just decided to get rid of it altogether, I guess, which is kind of sad.
Let's see what happens when they come for the Cleveland Browns. I'm sure that's insensitive in some way or another to somebody.
So anyway, the sheriff wants to cut off Joseph and George before they get past Yellow Springs. So now they're going to, Joseph and George are going to steal some horses, but they leave a note about it. They say,
It's the best.
we will return your horses as soon as we can. They're in good hands. P.S. We're not stealing them. We're only borrowing them.
and please accept this stolen truck as collateral until we do return them.
Oh, and we get Al walking through a horse. Hey, this would have been difficult.
Hey.
Because,
Of course, the horse is going, "Hey, buddy, what do you think you're doing?"
well, and it has been established in Quantum Leap lore that children under 5, because they're still pure-hearted, they can see Al, even though he's a hologram.
That's true. Yeah.
And animals can as well. Yeah.
That's a good point. I wonder why the horse didn't react to Al walking through him.
Oh, but
Horses
he did.
are terrible actors.
I think he did look, actually, Jill. I'd have to watch the scene again, but I think the horse did turn his head and kind of notice.
Mm-hmm.
Horses are pretty laid. Horses are laid back, though, so
that makes sense. They are just like giant, dangerous dogs. So Al is wondering. Okay, so Joseph stole some paint too. So they're painting. He's painting society marks on his face, and then they say how many horse raids he's been on, and the horses get some marks too. And these handprints stand for the men that they've killed in battle. So how many men that Joseph has killed, and also
how many
George. And so the interesting thing about this is Sam hesitates when he's got to paint. So he puts one handprint on the horse, and the grandfather says, "Go ahead, I can see it in your eyes." And Sam puts a second print. And the grandfather, Joseph, is satisfied by that. And so by this point by this episode, Sam has killed 2 people. He has killed Roger from the Honeymoon Express.
Yeah.
And Nick in the last episode.
Yes.
Her charm. So I remember that Roger told Sam that Sam didn't have what it takes to kill a man, that he could see it in his eyes. And later when he stabs Roger, he tells Sam that it'll be easier the next time.
And it was. Did you see that shooting face? Oh, my.
Yeah.
So they mark their horses, and they are headed up the mountains to get to the other side so that they can get to the reservation. But hot on their tail is Sheriff Sonny.
Sheriff Sonny Taggart.
That's him.
Ziggy helps by showing the best direction to get to the reservation, but then they get into a shooting battle. And at this point, we know that in this episode, Ziggy is referred to as a he.
Yes. And so, Sam gets shot.
Yes, that's right.
But he just, it's fine. You just blew off some meat. You're fine. So, all right.
Yeah, he's painful. Totally fine. I don't even know why. But okay.
Well, no, just probably to add some dramatic tension. But then Joseph is rather tuckered from going up the mountain, pardon me. And so Sam sees a cave off in the distance and says, "Can you make it to the cave?" And they pile in with the horses and make a small fire at the back of the cave. And this is where we get some very interesting references to, well, the nature of death through this culture.
Yes, but before that, like you said, I guess I didn't get a screenshot of it, but this is where he has his trick, where he says
Oh, yes.
that he's going to start a fire, and you think that it's going to be some special way that only he can do, but he just has a lighter, and so it was a really good prank.
Yeah, that was very funny.
And we get some audible sound effects.
Nice touch, Scotty.
It's the benefit. It's the benefit of having ancient Western knowledge. So,
but you're right. This is the point in the episode where it gets metaphysical, when Joseph begins talking about death.
And how, with the big city ways that George has been taught, I suppose, with the big city ways, and it's like you're afraid of death, but death is just the shedding of a skin and putting on a new one and passing through a door. We are like grasshoppers, and with each travel we leap. And he continually says, we leap to the next destination. Have you ever leapt with the anticipation of not surviving? And Sam's like, no.
Oh boy, that's a good line. Yeah.
The next time you leap, remember that.
Oh, Jill, is this some copy for me to read?
Well, it was, but you just paraphrased it perfectly, so you don't have to read it.
No, but I kind of want to say what Joseph said specifically, because I think he says it really, really far better than I could. But he says, death is a doorway, and we are like the grasshopper. When we die, we shed one skin and put on another and leap to a new life on the other side of the door. And then Sam says, what if there's nothing beyond the door? And Joseph replies, then I would fight to hang on to this skin as hard as I could, because it would be all I had. But it's not. All of life is a series of leaps for us grasshoppers. Sometimes we see where we are going. Sometimes we don't. Have you ever leapt and not at least survived?
Yeah, I like that line about life being a series of leaps. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
And Sam says no.
And Sam says no?
Yes. Yes, is he talking to George or Sam? He's talking to both.
That's a really nice moment in the episode, actually.
Yeah. Yes, I do love how these stories are actually having an effect on the actual Quantum Leap project, the actual science fiction part of the series. So they're trying to find bridges between the human stories we get and the adventure of trying to get home, leap home.
Well, and we haven't heard that much, because as within the first season, and it sort of was introduced in the beginning of the second season, there was a metaphysical sort of who is in control of these leaps, and it's been heavily implied that it was a higher power, perhaps God. But then encountering Joseph, maybe it's more of a spiritual, a binding of the universe together, a force, if you will. But it's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be the God. It could be a God. So I do, yeah. Mixing the metaphysical with the technological, or the science fiction with the spiritual.
Or it could even be a spiritual entity that's godlike, but not necessarily a deity, right?
Oh, Jill?
I have a feeling that it is God, the way that Belisario is writing it.
Have you seen the last episode?
I probably. Okay. I guess I'll hold my.
No, we can.
That, then.
No, but and when it comes to the end, unfortunately, I do have a firm belief as to who's controlling the leaps.
Well, for basically a 90s series, I guess God would be the sensible choice. I mean, for the writers, right, back then.
It does take a lot for Sam, being a man of science, to wrap his head around that possible idea. Although, yeah,
I would think so. Yeah,
that's right. That's why he makes it a point to say, "What if there's nothing beyond the door?"
Mm-hmm. And so Sonny Taggart is drawn into the cave, and we think that he's going to get the jump on George and Joseph. But nope, it's the transistor radio, just with the still burning fire. And Sam and Joseph have snuck away in the night on their horses.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful morning. Lots of beautiful scenery in this episode.
I wonder where this was filmed. That's really nice. Wow. Actually, I remember thinking last night when I watched the episode, I thought, wow, that's really beautiful scenery. Like,
well, the episode itself is set in Nevada, but where it was filmed
might have been. I mean, Nevada's pretty close to California, basically, so it's possible, I guess. They did seem to film a lot of on-location stuff in this, didn't they, this series?
They did have some beautiful cinematography for it, but you do get to pick up. You can pick up on when it's stock footage.
Okay.
But in this one, even when they were driving alongside the freight train, like that was obviously new footage for it. So they could have taken a field trip to Nevada. I'm not sure in terms of the shooting locations.
Yeah, it probably was in the end credits, but I didn't watch the end credits. So,
and also in this episode was how Joseph would talk about how some Native Americans have moved off away from their homes to work in the cities, and he believes that some of them have forgotten their origins. But Sam tries to tell them that maybe instead that they're searching for something themselves. So that was an interesting commentary on that. And anyway, they only have to make it to the river in order to be beyond Sheriff Taggart's reach. And everything's fine until Joseph falls off of the horse and Sam makes a stint for his broken arm.
Splint.
Oh.
No, because a stent is that little thing that goes in your heart to open up your arteries.
You're right. Splint is what I meant to say. I didn't do.
I don't mean to correct you. I don't mean
no,
to correct
please
you.
do correct me. I need to be corrected.
I thought it was
Please correct me every time. Otherwise, we're just going to have wrong content in here.
I thought it was a stent, wasn't it, Scotty?
In your heart?
Yeah, stent.
Yes.
Not a stint. Subtle difference, but
it is. Yes, absolutely.
I'm being a stickler.
No, I cannot correct Jill and then not be corrected myself for being incorrect. Okay. So the dominoes have fallen. I think we have all established. A stent goes in your heart, a splint goes on your broken arm, and a stint is a brief thing that you do. I had a stint. Were you a waiter for a stint?
So Sam wants Joseph to live. He wants Joseph to go on so he can teach everybody like those, about his life and his history. Well, and at that point, yes, go ahead.
Well, that's something, and it like talking to older people, and and when I say older people, I mean like people my dad's age. He's in his mid-70s now, and you have conversations with him, and some people will listen to the stories that he tells, and some people won't. And he's by no means and like really old man talking about the days before trains or anything like that. But he has a similar story like this, where it's like, don't you want to pass on your memories? And it's like nobody wants to remember them.
It's not just memories, though. It's wisdom. It's like, I remember the line, no one wants to remember the wisdom of elders, is what he says, right? And I thought that line really, hit home, because I've experienced that myself at my age. It's like, I love being on these live streams with people that want to actually listen to my experiences and, maybe learn something from them, because I love to share, my ideas. But there are some people that are just like, oh, you're just an old fogey. Go away. We don't care what you think or what you've lived, right? And it is troubling at times, I must say. So I totally get where Joseph was coming from by saying that.
Well, and the way that he says it with whimsy as opposed to being heavy-handed as well. Like there is a glint in his eye and a joie de vivre.
Well, yeah, you have to keep your humor no matter what, right?
Hopefully.
Well, I have so far.
So far. Which,
Well, who knows? Who knows what lies ahead? I don't know.
oh, and I'm not saying it'll that fire will ever go out. No, not at all. But it's one of those things that you find people get more jaded with age, and it's like, damn kids, they don't listen anymore
It's
with their cursed woke culture. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
it does get it can be that. I mean, I've noticed a lot of people, that are older, they do get that way and they get
Yeah,
set in their ways and they don't want to think about anything new and they don't want to learn from other people. And I think it's really kind of tragically sad, really, because I mean, once you stop learning and listening and experiencing what other people have to offer, it's like, well, why are you even here? It's like, what's the point anymore?
absolutely. And I totally agree with that, and especially as personified between having George being the 21-year-old and having Joseph in
Mm,
the twilight of his years.
mm,
And through the process, you have Sam himself trying to make it so that Joseph will survive.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
Joseph is saying there is more to life than surviving. I would like to live. There is no
Mm.
shame. There's no defeat in death.
Yeah, well, Joseph realized that with his health issues, his time is limited no matter what anyway. So he'd rather go out on his terms.
With
I'm like, Sam, I wanted Joseph to live so I wanted to see the reservation and everything.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
it would have, but the thing, and this is when you watch other movies or other, like, obviously I don't have firsthand experience of what it's like to pass away, but when you have those movies where it shows, say, the end of Gladiator, and Maximus dies and you see him walk out into the field and be rejoined with his wife and child, and it's like traveling into heaven or something like that. And I think that would have been a nice touch on the end. It is a little abrupt how Sam just leaps upon the passing of Joseph. Spoilers for the end of this episode from 1990, when
That's
Joseph
fine.
passes away. Jill, what's the next quote that you have in the private chat?
I had this next quote is the only thing that Joseph thinks he needs to impart. There's only
And
one thing you have to learn.
would you put it in? Would you like to say it?
There's only one thing you have to learn, that freedom is the greatest gift we're born with and the hardest thing to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
then Joseph makes a joke about scalping as Sam goes off to face the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely only Joseph could make a joke like that, of course, because of course his tribe gave up on that particular activity near the turn of the century, which I found out from IMDb, because apparently there's an old documentary about it, but I couldn't actually find
Huh.
the actual documentary, but there's a
Huh.
description of it. Well, Sam doesn't scalp him, but he does take some hair.
Gives him a haircut.
Haircut.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know what? And Al does have to stop him.
Right. Did I get a picture of that? I don't know.
Well,
Where's
we're
the
still
fight?
not there. Okay, he goes and he tackles Sonny Taggart, and they have a fist fight. And Al is like, "Yeah, sock it to him, Sam," which is what Al does. And then Sam is ready to cut a bitch.
It's like his Captain Kirk Gorin moment.
Yeah,
You know what? I thought the same thing.
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it totally entered my head when I saw that scene last night.
And so he
I will not kill today.
But
and then Sam or Al's like, "No, don't do it, Sam." And Sam's like, "Fine."
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good scene.
I
yeah,
thought he was. Sorry.
what did you think?
I thought he was going to give the hair to Joseph.
Yeah, me too. But I guess he should have knocked out the sheriff a little better, because he gets back up and causes some trouble and shoots back
Well, yeah,
and shoots
and then
Joseph.
shoots Joseph, and then Sam and Suzanne, knowing that Joseph is going to die, we just have to take him. And this is just a couple of great moments from Joseph, and it's like, did you scalp him? No. If there was anyone who deserved to be scalped. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, you got to wonder
Yep.
about the sheriff's motivation by this point, though. It's like shooting an old man in the back. It's like, really, buddy? Like, what's the point? You've already pretty much lost this.
Well, and that's I think this is, again, that's sort of why I brought up Brian Dennehy from Rambo. It's just it's that, I don't know, how dare you mess with the police in our town kind of thing. And then it's very sort of hunting the white whale of someone who had not only bested him, embarrassed him, locked him in his own jail, and then took off again for the same crime that he was brought in for. Like, this is a Captain Ahab point of pride.
It's about revenge then.
That's what it seems like. And that's and Sam does what Sam does best, is try and explain the morality and the humanity of the situation. And so Sonny doesn't continue with his murder spree.
Yeah, Sonny learns.
Thankfully,
Sonny learns that Joseph just wanted to die in dignity with his friends,
Mm-hmm.
the place he grew up in, and so they get him across the river. That's as far as we get.
And Joseph,
and even in his dying moments, he's talking about football.
yes, that was good.
so no matter what, he still has the best spirit and the funniest disposition.
He asks George, "Do you like the Redskins? Best damn team in America." And then, as Joseph reaches the promised land, Sam leaps away from George, which could probably be very traumatic for George.
Yeah.
He leaps back into his own body to see his dead grandfather there, and like, how did I get here? What's going on?
I know I don't mean to be laughing about it. It's sad.
I hadn't thought about that, Scotty, but that's very traumatic to think about.
Well, and the only reason I thought of it in this episode, and I don't usually think about it unless whatever, but like the last one, it was like, okay, take this gun, and when I leap out, Pete's going to be pissed. So you're going to want to cover me until Richardson gets here, and then everything will be fine. But with this one, it's just sort of like, huh.
That is the great thing about Quantum Leap now, is they're considering the consequences of the leapy after Sam leaps.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how they would reconcile it, but it seems that Joseph has reached the destination that he wants, and I agree with his reasons.
Yes, he wanted to go his way, and he did.
Yeah.
And then we leap into a rerun.
And we leap into a rerun. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
You guys have covered this one before?
Yeah.
So I can skip this one then, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one. It's actually a good one that deals with the blackout on the Eastern Seaboard in the 1960s.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
It's got Nick Cassavetes in it, which son of John Cassavetes.
John Cassavetes, right?
And there's some good actors and some. It's kind of a mob boss situation. I would recommend.
Okay, I'll probably watch that, because I remember at the start, doesn't Sam wake up with no trousers on?
That's right.
Yeah, that in itself got me kind of hooked. It's like, okay, I got to know what the scenario was for this to occur.
And
but watch the two following would be the ones you're going to do.
Yes, the next, and the reason the next two that we're going to do aired on March 7th and March 14th. Hey, I know somebody. That's my sister's favorite episode of Quantum Leap, so I'll have to watch that with her. But that usually when they go back to a rerun, it's because it's actually going to be a rerun the following week, which is interesting in terms of the air dates and how it goes. And again, as you were saying, with older television and older productions, if they were having a rerun next week, then they would show the preview for the episode that was coming up next week so that people would know what to tune in for next week. So it's interesting to see. And it's like, oh, because they've leapt into one guy named Jesse like 3 times already, Jill.
Really?
Yeah. 3 times we've gone into the Color of Truth episode.
Oh, wow.
And so, and it's obvious that they're just promoting the episode that NBC had decided to air the following week.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I said the air dates, but I didn't say the name of the episodes. Next week's episodes are going to be Good Night, Dear Heart, and Pool Hall Blues. Pool Hall Blues is one of my favorite episodes, not just because it's an awesome episode, but also it seems to be the prototype for every video game of pool you've ever played.
Does that have Minnesota Fats in it or something?
I don't know. I can check well,
He's
you know
probably
what?
the most famous pool hall hustler in history. So
Just
just guessing. Total wild guess on my part.
No, it doesn't seem that Minnesota Fats is in it.
Okay, that's probably for the best then. They would have had to really stick to historical accuracy if he had been, I would think.
Yeah, and don't count on that in Quantum Leap all of the time.
Sometimes.
No. I get that it's kind of a fantasy, even though it has scientific overtones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they do incorporate historical events when it's possible. But
there's the one with the Kennedy assassination, isn't there? I remember.
Yeah, we've got a ways to go until we leap into Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right. Oh, geez, that'll be entertaining.
That's going to be a bitchin' episode. I can't wait to see that.
Wow.
Like, we may even have to shuffle things around because I think it's a season finale and a season premiere. So I'm wondering.
Is it a 2-parter?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow.
So
try and time it so we watch both of them on the same night then.
That's what I'm saying.
Anytime there's a 2-parter, we do it at the same time.
Right.
That would make sense, yeah.
So that means we'll either have to do a short episode one Thursday or we're going to have to do an extra long episode one Thursday. I don't know which. It depends on when it comes about. We got plenty of time before that happens.
Okay. Hey, can I have a minute, guys? Are we going to be on for a little bit longer? Or?
Just a few minutes.
Yeah, not much longer.
I was just going to pop off for like a minute or two, if that's okay.
For sure.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Cool.
Great.
But yeah, so when it comes to freedom, I enjoyed it. As the poem that you read indicated, in terms of walking a mile in someone else's moccasins, I think that's a great reflection of the entire show. Joseph's allegory for the grasshopper leaping through the door is again great, and you get a lot of Al being tickled and Sam going against what he believes, but doing what he has to do to leap.
Yes, wonderful imagery for Quantum Leap for sure. And I do enjoy when Al tips over laughing.
Yes. Now all we need is some hot dogs. I thought that was fantastic. So that pretty much covers Quantum Leap for this evening. Jill, do you happen to have anything going on the internet that you would like to let the fine people out there know about?
Well, in a little bit when the show is over, I'm going to be watching Forbidden Planet, and we're going to be talking about it tomorrow at noon Central on my channel. And it's important to me to talk about this movie because apparently it's one of the pillars of Star Trek, one of the big influences. So I'll see just how big of an influence it was.
Absolutely. And it is, aside from the flying saucer, but there is a lot. Have you ever read The Tempest or seen The Tempest, the play by Shakespeare?
Shakespeare. Yeah, in high school I think we covered it. I don't remember much from it.
You guys talking about Shakespeare?
Vaguely.
Talking about Forbidden Planet, which is going to be coming up on the Plomeek Tea Time tomorrow afternoon on Jill's channel.
Oh, you're kidding. Is that tomorrow morning? That's 10 a.m. my time?
All I remember is What Brave New World.
You guys have both seen Forbidden Planet, though, right?
I have.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be featuring it. Yeah, of course.
No,
That's a
actually,
great
I
film.
feature movies that I've never seen all the time. Like when we
Oh,
did Westworld, I hadn't seen it.
oh
So,
wow.
so that was new for me.
But you have seen Forbidden Planet.
I have.
Okay, well that's even better then, because then we can really discuss it thoroughly. Then
Hmm.
that's a great film.
And then on Monday night, we're going to be talking about BEM with pop culture curator on
Finally.
oh no, we could totally, you know what, just delete that episode. But we're going to be
I was so disappointed that my computer
Oh.
crashed because it's not even a good episode to extend another week for.
that's how good that episode is, Jill, is that your
So
computer killed itself so it wouldn't have to watch it or discuss it.
you guys had the same feelings about it I did then.
We don't want to spoil it though, because it's over on Pop Culture Curator's
Well,
channel
I'll
on Monday night.
I'll just say this one did not enjoy it.
And then also we'll be back on your channel on Tuesday, Jill.
Yes, for also because of my computer issues, I had to skip my Tuesday original Star Trek the original series reviews. So we missed talking about tomorrow's yesterday, so we'll be talking about it on Tuesday.
So tomorrow's yesterday will be in the future.
Yes.
Well, yes, technically next Tuesday is going to be last Tuesday based on technical difficulties.
Yes, where the Enterprise deliberately goes into. Oh wait, no, it's an accident. This one's an accident. Okay, so this one was okay because it was an
Oh
accident.
yeah, it was some kind of black hole or something they
Yeah,
got
but we'll
sucked
talk
into.
about it on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We will
Sorry.
get into that on
Yeah.
Tuesday,
I don't
just
want
to
to
let
That's the cool
no
part.
spoilers, no spoilers.
just to let people know what's going on. And then for me, I'm going to be checking out Night Court on Sunday night, and I have the distinct privilege of being able to hang out with pop culture curator Jill and PvP for the Star Trek reviews on Monday and Tuesday. Next Wednesday, we're going to be covering Batman Mask of the Phantasm on this here channel with Kat. And because we've been going through all of the Batman movies, we've covered 1966, we've covered the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher movies. We're going to do some Kevin Conroy and keep plowing through Batman, and rinse and then again next week 2 more episodes of Quantum Leap. PvP.
Wait. Which Batman the animated movie are you going to watch?
Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm. Thank you.
Yes. And PvP. Where can people find your talented soul on the internets?
Oh, well, you can check out my channel. If does Joe want to post a link, or Scotty, do you want to post a link?
Nah, it's my channel and I'm lazy. I haven't posted a link all day. I'm not going to do it now.
Anyway, just go to pleasantvalleypicker.ca and you'll find me. It's the same old thing I'm going to say. I've got music playlists because I haven't got around to. I have had a few ideas about possible video series I'm thinking about, but nothing definite yet. So
Nice. And
yeah, I got to come up with something one of these days.
Well, hey, it is. You've been putting up playlists, and
Yeah, I just put some up in the last week or so, I guess. Yeah.
And you introduced me to a great punk band, and I enjoy a punk band with a lady lead singer. So thank you for Amel and the Sniffers.
They are great, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been funking out to them.
Did you check out Starcrawler yet?
No, I haven't checked out Starcrawler. And Jill, you don't have to do that. This is the Fantasmagorium show. We have no production value. We don't post links. No, I'm joking.
By the way, I just wanted to mention I do have a playlist of their videos.
Oh, okay.
Which is probably the best introduction to them, because their videos are actually very, very fun and creative. They're kind of crazy at times too, but they're good. Good, really good band.
I post links because it's fun.
Well, and it's also very helpful. I'm just a selfish son of a bitch, and I'm lazy. I don't do anything. So, but I did want to thank everyone in the chat for being here. Thank you, Edge of Time, for playing along. Thank you so much, PvP. Thank you for being on the panel.
Oh,
and
it's an honor, Scotty.
I'm glad we could get the link to you. I'm sorry that it had to happen at the beginning of the show. I should pay more attention to my emails. If you do want to, and this goes for absolutely everyone, if you want to get in touch with me, I am at ScottyR37 on the tweets. Thanks, Black Phillip Alvarez, once again, my fairy godmother, my Santa Claus, for being here. Matt G, thank you for being here as well. Ashley Lynn Gaia Storm, I miss my bad. I hope that there is another one and that your final episode was not the final episode.
I think that she's reworking her show, and so she wants to make it something different. I don't know exactly how she wants to present it next, but I'm excited to see what she has in store.
Yeah, me too. It's always a pleasure to talk to her, but also it's always a pleasure to be seen by her. So thank you for stopping by, Ashley. Sci-Fi Nation, thank you for the toonie. Appreciate it, and thank you for being here. Sci-Fi Nation does have a channel, and you can find that in the chat replay if you're listening on the rerun. Lemon Pie, thank you for being here again. As always, it's always a pleasure to see Lemon and Captain Finity, our New Zealander by the lake, who has been just recently released of his tyrannical prime minister. And thank you so much. Yes, she quit.
I hadn't heard that. He must be so excited.
I don't know.
That is great. But I guess it depends on who replaces her.
I guess I don't know what's going on, but she stepped down, so now apparently no one has to wear pants in New Zealand. That's what I heard.
Don't forget that famous Who line, though. Well, welcome the old boss, new boss, same as the old boss. So you never know.
Oh, we could go on for days, but I like to see the silver lining instead of the dark cloud. Let's hope. We
can change bosses, but that doesn't mean we'll get a better one, right?
I could go on.
Instead of pants, you mean masks, right?
Sure, whatever.
It's democracy, for better or worse.
So actually, if anyone out there watches the Quantum Leap episodes that we are covering, we could have you on as a guest too, if you want to talk to us about it.
Absolutely. There is only one requirement. You just got to see the shows.
Yeah, because I thought it was a fun idea when he said we could rotate guests and stuff.
Yeah.
So that would be fun if anybody's interested.
Absolutely. There's only two constants. Sam and Al are always here. And then whoever's life we leap into, it's the best part. So thank you everyone for being here. And Jill, you know it's your turn. So if you could do the honors.
Oh boy.